no matter if you are riding English or Western today, these are the exercises that I assign most riders that are having trouble with some of their equitation. And as always, we don't give medical advice, but these are the exercises I do after a lifetime of injuries and having gone to thousands of hours of physical therapy, talking to chiropractors and doctors who specialize in sports medicine and exercise specialists that deal with horse people. So these are the exercises that I use, and I ask my students to use them by spells when they're having trouble with things. One of the first ones is called the stork, and you want to have on safe shoes, something that you're comfortable with, and you need to be able to stand on one foot and put your other foot up around your leg like a stork, both sides. You're going to find one much easier than the other. And the thing about storking is that a lot of it does not have to do with strength. Some of it's ankle strength, but 90% of it's your balance. And if you keep doing this and you get worse and worse, first of all, you have brain fatigue. So stop, because you're not getting stronger. It's not like the more sit-ups you do, the more you can do. I went to a neurologist when I began to have problems with my balance and with some of these exercises, and they told me that my immune system failures and leaky gut problems were affecting my brain, and that affects your balance. So if you start in on balance exercises and it gets worse and worse, first of all, stop, rest your brain, and only do it for short periods of time, and look for when you're not tired, not exhausted, and try then. And then get help, because you can take care of this. I was really, really sick. I'm better now. They can help you with this. So this again is the stork, and better than that is the advanced stork, is that with the other foot that you draw the alphabet. And this is harder to do than you think. You have to remember the alphabet and do it. And if you can do that for 26 letters, it's amazing. So you want to do it on both sides if you can, and you may have to hang on to a chair or the wall. That's okay. If you need to do that, do it, because it's really important that you're able to begin to do this. So it's okay if you have to hang on to something, just lightly touch something and go at it, and then sometimes you can let go. So you're doing the stork, and the advanced exercise of that is the stork with the alphabet. Over the years, most of us get to the point with riding where we get kind of round-shouldered in the upper body. We do a lot of typing, so we're used to having our knuckles up a lot. The muscles around here get a lot stronger. And for riders, one of the things that's actually hard to do is to put our palms forward. And so one of the exercises that the physical therapists ask riders to do a lot is to just stand here. And of course, I'm doing my X stand, because every time I'm standing, I'm trying to do my X stand. So I'm doing an exercise, but I'm doing two exercises. And palms forward. And amazingly enough, there was one period in my life where I was working 7 or 8 horses a day, and the physical therapist was like, she asked me to do this one day. I could not get my palms around, because I had horses pulling on me so much, and I've been long lining and lunging horses. They'd hyperextended both shoulders a million times. This happens to trainers all the time, that all of this gets pulled forward a lot. And so, and horses jerking on us and running backwards out of the trailer, or whatever it is that horses do that hyperextend our shoulders, arms, it was happening. How about buckets, pulling buckets? So all of this work wasn't particularly good for this. So this isn't the easiest thing for me either, because some of you notice that I have, as I age, it's very hard for me to keep my upper back flat. So this is a very important exercise for me, and I should do it more often. Palms forward. So then what you do with this is you also put your arms overhead, and then try to relax your chest so that your chest doesn't go up too much, and put your palms towards each other, but your arms as straight as you can manage them. And this is hard. And not only that, but you're going to find that, oh, I got my arms up there, and I'm losing my breath. No kidding, it's true. Okay, arms down, and you can put your palms toward the ground, which is easier. Put your palms up. This is the T. So this is a whole series of exercises. Then you can put palms forward, palms towards each other, palms up at the T, palms down at the T, arms down, rest, let your shoulders drop, and just let your arms try to hang as straight as you can. Relax your armpits. I keep doing this, relax your armpits. Now I want to show you this from the side because I tend to stand a little like this. You know, I'm not that straight right there. So I'm going to show you this from the side, and I'm going to stand in my X position, which is really good. So here we go from the side, and you see it kind of opens my clavicle area, which we all need our clavicle open. So then up, palms towards each other, palms forward. That's not too hard in this position, but any of this, it's really hard. At one point, I couldn't even get my arms up over my head straight because of problems. So then down, down, palms down, and man, that pulls right across here, pulls across your sternum. Yeah, should. And down, and palms forward. When I think of it, I walk to the house from the barn with my palms forward when I can think of it, because I don't do this enough, because all day long we're like this on the car, we're typing, buckets, even shoveling, cleaning the stalls. Almost everything we do pulls down on these shoulders, but it pulls this way. It doesn't open up here, which needs to be open. So until next time, don't forget to do this set of exercises, which is the palm up or palm forward exercises. One of the exercises that I have riders do regularly is called the bow-legged sailor. And what it is to make people think about how you actually sit on a horse, which is kind of interesting, because you have to think about, how do I wrap my leg around a horse? So you want to have on good shoes, you know, because you don't want to roll your ankles over, and your feet have to be at least as far apart as your shoulders. You want to be on level ground. Have something handy to hang on to if you need to, because this is a little tricky. Okay, then bend your knees, keep your core straight, you know, try to think about your clavicle open. And now what you're going to do is you're going to turn your knees out as if you're going to put a barrel between your legs. Like the horse is the barrel, because remember, a horse is round, so you have to turn your knees out and bend down, squat a little. And how far out do you have to go? And you have to keep opening your knees as far as you can and squat, and keep your feet flat on the floor. Don't roll them over. Go only as far as you can manage and keep your core straight. This is what you're trying to do when you ride. And look at the strain on all of this. Here, 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 here. Awesome exercise, hard to do. So we're going to look at it from the side. Okay, so I'm straight to start with, and I bend my knees a little bit. Then I begin to roll them out, and as I roll them out, now you can't stick your fanny out. You got to keep your fanny straight down as if you're sitting on the horse. Try to keep your core. Think about this being straight. Think about your head, neck, arms. Your arms can be to your side or like this. And man, it's hard on your quads. You're only going to do that for 30 or 40 seconds. But every single day, if you think about this, you have to be able to do that. Because when you sit down on a horse, you have to relax your thighs and wrap your lower leg and wrap your ankle. And that's the position you ride in. So you're looking for this. It's called bow-legged sailor. Bow-legged sailor exercise. When we talk about sitting trot, one of the things that we fail to talk about is the ankle. And it's amazing how much the ankle comes into the sitting jog or sitting trot, because the ankle absorbs a lot of the motion of the horse for you. As you sit, if you have the correct alignment and your thigh is relatively down under your seat, then your thigh hangs down, your lower leg wraps around, and your ankle actually flexes. As you ride, your ankle flexes like this. And that absorbs a lot of the motion of the jog or the trot. Well, amazingly enough, when people come to work on sitting trot, I'll look at them and I'll go, man, your ankles don't move at all. And they're like, oh, I have really stiff ankles. Two things. One is there are pivoting stirrups in English those cause a lot of problems in posting trot. Those are only for people that have ankle or knee problems. If you've had surgery, yes, you need those. No, you don't want them if you're trying to do posting trot and people are telling you you're posting behind the motion of the horse, because when you step down on it, the thing rocks on you. And what it does is your ankle doesn't absorb the motion. The thing is rocking, but you don't have a stable position, and so you get behind the motion of the horse. So that's just a little sidebar. But when you are using, your leg correctly and your ankle is working, it's going to absorb a lot of the sitting trot motion or sitting jog motion. So one of the things that you need to do is be sure that your ankle will flex. So people that want to step up on the stairs and let their heels hang down, that's great. But most people, kind of sit on the sofa and do these exercises because they don't have much mobility in their ankles. And people are like, I don't have time to do exercises. And I'm like, aren't you having a Zoom meeting with your boss? And you're listening, but they can't see what you're doing. Your feet are below the camera. Or how about you're watching TV, streaming something, you're riding in the car, you're not the driver. So making sure that your ankles, both ankles work, that you can flex them in all directions is very, very important to a rider. And if you have problems with that, if you do have flexibility problems or you've got ankles that have been repaired or pinned or whatever, then you get stirrups that move for you to help you so that you don't have pain. But if you're not one of those injured ones, then you're using regular stirrups. And this exercise will help you with that mobility. Diagonal exercises are very difficult to do, and as riders we frequently have to use one leg doing something independently while we use the opposite hand to do something else. And this is a skill that you train yourself for diagonal aids. So one of the things that you want to try to do, for example, is to stand on, let's say, stand on one foot while you turn your left ankle, you try to dot with your index finger. And this is so hard to do because you're going doing circles with your left finger, your left foot, and you're just trying to do up and down with your right. And what you're going to see is that your leg is going to try to dot and your hand is trying to circle and your brain is going, oh my gosh, and I'm trying to do that and talk to you, not fall down. Sometimes standing on one foot, you got to be near something, don't fall over. Hang on to something if you have to. Work on your balance because balance is really important. Okay, now we're going to try to do it on the other foot. So I'm going to stand on my left and I'm going to turn my left and try to tap my left while I turn my right, and you can try to reverse it. Do you see my hand? It went round because I turned my right foot and then I couldn't keep tapping. This is really hard to do, and it's an advanced movement. But first you start with just being able to pick up your foot and circle it, or you do the stork and then remember the alphabet exercise, and then you try to get to this. But diagonal aiding is very important, and the diagonal aid exercise is something that can really help you. So give it a try if you're feeling like brave today and you feel like your balance is really good. This is Lilith's yoga ball out in the barn, and it's very uninflated for her to do stuff with. So normally in my office, mine is inflated about this big. But what I did want to tell you is the last thing that we have people do, which is really good for your back, is to sit on a yoga ball. So you do want to sit on your yoga ball and figure out where you're comfortable. This one is too low for me, so just keep that in mind. Because this is underinflated for her to play with. But I just happen to have it out here in the barn, so it's handy. So for me, a correctly sized yoga ball would be about that tall, because you want to sit down and be comfortable, not have too much bend in your thighs. So this is too small for me because it's too much. My thighs are too compressed. But you just, you want to sit on your ball and bounce up and down like this, which is, crazy. People are like, seriously? And I go, yeah, well, I have one in my office. And what they tell you is this is really good for riders' discs and for their back. And it's very good for your back. So the one thing you want to keep in mind is be sure the yoga ball is the right size for you. Also, they roll around, so you have to pay attention, don't fall off, warnings. Then there are yoga balls, and the one I have in the house for my office, it has sand inside of it, which helps to stabilize it. And a lot of them have stands to kind of hold them in place. So if you're doing a lot of work at the computer or something, and you can get a yoga ball to sit on, they're not a bad thing. We recommend it to people, especially people that have disc concerns and back concerns. Not a bad thing, but certainly the bouncing up and down on the disc ball, just a few a day, is supposed to be excellent for backs. And that was the physical therapist telling me that when I was having difficulties with compressed discs and back inflammation. Hi, we just want to show you an exercise today, and it's called Rock the Block, and you can sit on the mounting block, and what it's going to do is help you keep your seat bones together while you ride at the walk and the sitting jog and the lope or canter. And you sit on a block, a tall one is great, or a kitchen chair. Put your thighs apart, feet flat on the ground, and rock the block forward and back. And this is going to help you keep your seat bones together while you're riding, because it's rare for your seat bones to work independently. We want your seat bones together, particularly in the walk and the lope or canter. So you sit on the block. I'm going to put it sideways for you so you can see a little bit better. Keep your feet flat on the ground, keep your lower back straight, and rock the block. And this is going to help you learn to follow in the walk and the lope or canter particularly. This should be done every day and can be done on a chair. Hi, here's one of my favorite exercises. It's called the step up exercise. And every day you put your foot up on a block. The tall block is one of the best ones, and this keeps your hips level and more flexible so that you can swing your legs up over the horse, and you can put your foot on the fence, or for me, a lot of these things aren't tall enough. I'm used to putting my foot every morning on the bathroom sink. Now on the fence here, I have to put my foot on it, but on the sink, I can actually I can actually get my foot flat. And if you do that every day, you can keep yourself more supple. So you can see with my left foot, I'm not quite as supple with the left as the right due to some injuries in the past. So I have to keep at that every day, and it's really good for helping you to swing over the horse and keep yourself supple. So the step up exercise every day, put your foot up on the top. If this was helpful, please subscribe. Ida Norris Dressage YouTube.